gonna put the dog on you.
She put a dog. That's why I thought to put that little.
You know what, folks?
Get him, Snoopy.
I'm so glad soccer moms don't rule America. We had one lady coming through here so mad, holding up traffic. We're on a Category 1 free speech forum right here. Category 1, sidewalk, and she mad because we picketing. She's going to call the police because we wouldn't tell her, conduct an interview for her right in the middle of while she was in the street holding up traffic. I told her, get on out of here. She come back. If she ask you a simple question, I don't call the police. I said, call the police. I don't care. We're up here fighting for teachers because teachers aren't being treated right in America and in this particular school right here today. We're up here, what was one thing about forcing, the teacher comes to us and says that they were forcing him to change a grade.
Right.
And change grades for students who had already made B's in the previous semester, but they wanted A's evidently. And the teacher said he wasn't going to do it. They're trying to force him to change grades. And folks, teachers are being treated like dog poop. I ain't going to say the S word on TV right here, all over America today. It's just happening everywhere. And it's particularly bad in urban areas and metropolitan areas where you have a lot of schools, a lot of high schools. Not as bad as some of the rural areas, but here lately we've been having all kind of complaints up in Hart County, Elbert County, McDuffie County, Murray County, and we've been there too, haven't we? Oh, we going, we keep on going. Hey, we protect, defend, and empower teachers one member at a time. We can't, 125,000 teachers in Georgia. We can't defend, protect, and empower all of these teachers. Only the ones who join Mason are members.
That's right.
Now, you know, they all seem to come to us when they get a bus in a sling, though, right?
That's right.
Always come here. Folks, this movement, this whole accountability movement began about 40 years ago in California. Didn't really reach Georgia until about 1985 with the Quality Basic Education Act was passed in response to the publication in 1983 of A Nation at Risk. All these school reforms that the Department of Education wanted different schools, different states to come up with their own particular type of reform. Every one of them were failures. Every one of them was a failure, I should say. Correct my English, right? All were failures. And Georgia came up with No Child Left Behind. That was George Bush and Ted Kennedy came up with that. Came up with Quality Basic Education, QBE. I always said it stood for Quit Being an Educator, Mr. Haynes, or Quit Brutalizing Educators. And so ever since, they keep coming up with these reforms which have all been disastrous. I mean, Diane Ravitch wrote a book that came out in, I think, 2000, in the year 2000. She's the best education historian in the United States, where she examined all the reform movements from the past century. And I think it's called Left Back, the book. And all of them been failures, folks. Every one of them. What we got? What you say?
I heard of that book.
Oh, you heard of it? Okay. Anyway, I got an amen corner over here. Hit Smiley on that. Smiley, get Smiley. See Smiley, he's on that. He said he heard of that book. And Darrell Plenty right here. That's Keith Perry, Darrell Plenty. Narisi Haynes right here, the COO of Mason. Tom Berry, a stalwart picking up through the years, or a retired teacher. Used to teach in, Doug Berry used to teach in Chicago and Atlanta. And Ben, let me hold that video right here and let's get by Ben Barnes right here. He's a young thug right here. Druid Hills Middle School students and teachers deserve better. And then yours truly right here. And let me tell you, folks, all these reform movements start on one thing. By the way, our tripod messed up. We usually have a tripod, and we got it out of the car. Something was missing. I think we've got to screw something back on. We were juicing up the camera. They all start on the premise that teachers aren't teaching well enough, or strong enough, or tough enough, or hard enough. But none of them want to go to what the real problem is. The real problem are the students.
That's right.
Students are lazy these days. They won't put forth any effort. There's no order in schools.
Right.
Mr. Haynes always says order is the first law of the universe.
Right.
But guess what? There's no order in the schools anymore, right?
Right.
Our mantra at May says you can't have good learning conditions until you first have good teaching conditions.
Right.
And you don't have good teaching conditions anymore in schools. 40 years ago, when I grew up, if a teacher told you to do something, you did it.
Right.
And they didn't worry about the personality of the teacher. You adjusted your personality to the personality of the teacher. I had a lot of quirky and crazy teachers that we would say were crazy, but I learned something from them. Darrell, you went to school in New York, right?
Right.
Did you have any quirky teachers?
Oh, yeah.
Did your daddy say you had to adjust to them?
Exactly. You was wrong.
You were wrong. If the teacher said you were wrong, you were wrong. But now, all you got to do is go home and complain. Their mama come up to the school, the
up on the
administrator
teacher.
gets so nervous, they want to change the grade, right?
That's right.
They want to change the grade because of math. You got too many irate and irresponsible parents out there.
right.
Too many defiant and destructive students, and too many angry and abusive administrators out there. Hold that camera still, Ben. You shaking a little bit now. You ain't like that tripod. That tripod kept it real still. Tripod. We're going to fire Ben from holding this camera. He wants to get fired. He's the youngest on the picket line, so he got to hold the camera, right?
There you go.
He's supposed to have the steadiest hand. But they always do a crummy job because they want to get fired for that task, right? Anyway, folks, we're up here at Druid Hills Middle School in DeKalb County. The historic Druid Hills neighborhood. What's your sign say right there? You got an extra sign in the back right there.
It says
That's Stress City, right? Somebody Stress City right there. And what's that other one say right here? And Darryl plenty, he'll tear a sign up worse than anybody. Look at his hand. He tears signs up. You have to get. Can you reuse his signs too often? Leadership it says leadership, inspiration, not intimidation. What does mine say? Mine says Taylor and Dixon must go. Druid Hills students, Druid Hills middle school students and teachers deserve better. I guess I was doing that sign real fast. I left the word school off. Where's the leadership with Keith Smiley Perry right here? Mr. Haynes, forcing teacher to change grades? Question mark. Forcing teacher to change grade. We want to know some answers. This teacher said he's too afraid to come back to the school right here. He's been over there. And Mr. Haynes, you have worked with the central office I don't know how long on this case, right?
That's right.
And then no resolution has been brought to it, right?
No resolution from resolution.
It's called the Office of Internal Resolution, but I think it's the Office of Internal Languishness. They just want to let all the problems languish out there, folks. They want to call it the Office of Internal Resolution. That pollen getting to you, my tank? Right here by these dogwood trees right here. I think it's dogwood trees. Office of Resolution. They're the office of, you know, they just sit out there in a penalty box, right?
Office of Internal Confusion.
I like that. The Office of Internal Confusion. That's what.
I like that.
And anyway, we having a good time. Finally, spring feels like it has sprung. 21st of April, 2015. 90 years ago today, my father was born. Best man I've ever known. Born in Madison, Georgia.
Right.
April 21st, 1925. And I'm going to tell you about him. He was a school principal himself.
Strong.
His teachers adored him. Kids adored him. Because kids respect you when you have discipline.
That's right.
They knew Mr. Trotter didn't play, but they knew he loved them. He cared for his kids. And the parents, naturally. If the kids like you, the parents going to like you anyway, right?
That's right.
And he was just adored by parents, students, and teachers. These days, these administrators are running scared all the time, folks. Scared.
Story your dad said about leaving home when he spent a year from school.
Oh, they used to come in there sometime. He'd have a real bad kid. And, you know, we're not afraid to say some kids are bad. I mean, deep down they might be good, but they acting bad, right? And he used to suspend a kid 2 weeks. Sometimes the parents come in there and say, Mr. Trotter, why'd you suspend my kid for 2 weeks? He said, ma'am, that's all they allow me, just 2 weeks. He didn't do any, you're not going to do any good. Yes, ma'am, made 65 teachers real happy. Those days, my father was a dinosaur. I was a chip off the old block, a dinosaur like him, as well as my brother. My brother, same way. He supported his teachers 100%. In fact, his teachers generated the proposal, the recommendation for him to be principal of the year, and he got principal of the year for the Georgia PTA. Good principal. He's on the school board now down in Harris County. And I was a young administrator, a couple of middle school and high school many years ago. When I was 27 years old, I started off, and you could hear a pin drop in the halls, folks. I was so bored sometime I walk up and down the hall singing Purple Rain.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I mean, because you just got to support your teachers.
That's right.
And you got to make sure those kids know there ain't no free trips to the office. Anyway, we're just talking right now. We're on the picket line up here. I got a little fired up. That lady came by thinking we demanding that we're going to tell her why we picketed, right?
Right.
Told her, get on out of here. Ain't got time to conduct a press conference. I said, you're holding up traffic. And she screamed, you in my neighborhood. I said, I don't see your name written on it. Because I might have been a little more feisty.
There you go.
Real calm, right? Then she came running back, rolled the window down. Yeah, I asked you a simple question. I'm going to go call the police. I said, call the police. They ain't afraid of the police. We ain't doing anything wrong.
That's right.
Anyway, you can turn it on, huh?
Where you be at?
Where you be, where I be? Laurie loves that. My granddaddy used to say that all the time. Where you be, where I be?
I be.
All right, we're gonna be right here on the picket line,
right.
right? Having a good time, fighting for teachers.
That's right.
Hey, you say Mace, the administrators listen.
That's right.
You know, if you tell them, they say, well, my union folks out there, administrators, I don't care about union, but they say, but it's Mace. They say, what?
There you go.
We're trying to work that out, right?
Exactly.
You know, if they don't feel your union, you're in the wrong union, folks.
You better believe it.
Okay, over and out.